Force, Luke.
Sometimes truth isn't good enough.
I feel the need for speed.
Ray, when
Wait, I
someone
can't
asks
unmute
you
during
if
this?
you're a god, you say yes.
Because it's their time. Their time. Up there. Down here, it's our time. It's our time down here.
Happy New Year, everybody, from Winter Wolf's Den. Winter Wolf here. Kingsley about to make his first appearance of 2025 in the beach air screen coming up. There he is. Happy New Year, boss. What's going on?
Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025.
Fireworks and intro videos. All that stuff. Yeah, whatever.
Eventually. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get a nice little stream deck or something, cue up some effects, some background sounds, like maybe like a talk show waiting kind of tune, just get all like something all bossa nova, just class up the joint a little bit. But we're here today to recap a day. I guess it's not a day late. I mean, not everybody can go live at New Year's Eve and do the year-end review. We're grown-ups. We got stuff to do. So
Like
we're, Marvel Rivals, Cosmos Moon Knight. We're going to recap our highs and lows, our looking backs, our expectations, and all that stuff, and see how that went. We might phase in a little bit of 2025 to let everybody know maybe what we're quickly looking forward to. Maybe next week we can get a more like in-depth look at 2025 from all the big franchises, what's going to be offered up like we did last year. I think that was important. It gives us a little roadmap to kind of close out the year with later. So yeah, dude, I got, like I said, man, 2024 was actually a lot busier, entertainment wise than you think. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff to dunk on, but there was a lot of good stuff too, honestly, if I'm being fair. Like, I'm not sure crap on everything.
When we had our midweek conversation this week, you brought up a movie that I forgot even came out this year. We even reviewed it, and I forgot that it came out this year. So yeah, a lot of stuff happened this year.
Because that movie feels like it literally came out like 5 years ago. Like
it looked like it was filmed 5 years ago.
I mean, it looked like it was filmed 10 years ago and then released 5 years ago. But however you thought it looked like it was filmed, it was bad. But that might be kind of as good a place to start as anywhere else. And in my head, my kind of vision for how we'd handle like a whole big year was maybe like a back and forth, like one low, one high. I didn't want to like dump on everything up front or get all the high notes out of the way and then, get all the trash later. Maybe a little back and forth with the highs and lows. But let's start with the low. We can get that on the soundboard. Record that. Tell the Oracle to record that. I'll do it one more time. There we go. Now we're technologically advanced. We should start with this crappy movie because it was one of the all-time crap fests of crap fests, not just for 2024. This may go down. You remember that crappy movie Barbed Wire with Pamela Anderson from like the 90s?
Yes.
Like it goes down as bad superhero movie like that, minus obviously Pam Anderson's fine self being in that movie. This movie
was also pregnant while filming that movie.
Pregnant while filming. Still hotter than anybody in this movie besides Sydney Sweeney. Madam Web, of course, is probably the second lowest of the low of 2024, only behind that Star Wars show that we'll get to, obviously, and then we'll never talk about it again.
Never, ever. We're in a new year.
Unless they talk season 2, I won't mention the Acolyte this year. I promise. We don't need to review this anymore. But Madam Web is funny for 2024 because not only is it kind of a low point for superhero movies, modern superhero movies anyway, but it's the first of two bookends, and I'll just kind of pile this in at the end for the Sony, and we've said this a million times. You're calling it was it the Venomverse, the Villainverse?
The Villainverse.
Villainverse, right? The Sony non-Spider-Man Spider-Man movies. Madam Web opened the year in February and bombed like atomically, like Nagasaki bomb, right? And then the end of the year happened and Craven showed up. A lot of people don't even know that came out theatrically. And they're like, whoa, that's out already? And I'm like, dude, that came out like 2 weeks ago. And bombed also atomically at the box office. So Sony had to pull the plug going forward. So the Sinister Six movie we wanted, that's done. You're not getting a Rhino movie. You're not getting the Scorpion. You're not getting Vulture. We're not getting Mr. Sinister, which kind of sucks.
No, Mr. Sinister's X-Men.
That's right. No. Who was I? Not Mr. Sinister.
Doc Ock.
No, there was who else was in the Venomverse? The day it's not Morbius. There was one other one that was attached to these clowns, and I was like, damn, I actually wouldn't have minded seeing him. Oh well, can't remember. but we're not getting any of them because Sony's like, all right, we've seen enough. We're just going to continue to rent out Tom Holland over there to the MCU and make a little bit of money.
And that's the sad part. In the contract, they could have used Spider-Man and they could have used Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Couldn't be bothered. Could not be bothered, I guess. I don't know. I thought that was, it's funny that, you know, you think that these movies are put together by people that are interested in providing, even if it's not a good product, like a profitable product, like something they can sucker you with. But I think it's like the shine is off completely now. The Emperor has no clothes, whatever anachronism you want to use. Nobody's fooled anymore. Like nobody went to Craven at all. And of the folks that did go, I saw reviews that said it was just there. It was just an action movie. There were, you know, comic enthusiasts are like, he's not an animal lover going to fight on PETA's behalf or whatever nonsense mob background bullshit they shoot.
No, he was a hunter. That's why his
greatest hunter. Right?
Yes, he wanted all the trophies. That's why he went after the Spider-Man.
Right. So you didn't deliver that. Like there were a bunch of people with power and influence got together in a room. You know, they catered the affair. They had all kinds of good shit brought in. And one of these idiots said to each other, let's make a bunch of Spider-Man villain movies without Spider-Man in it, but we're going to make them all Maleficent. We're going to make them all the misunderstood heroes in their own movies. And everybody else lined up to clap that guy or that girl on the back. Yay. Good job, Trevor. This is going to put butts in seats. Really?
And it did at first with the very first Venom.
With Venom.
In which they used the actual storyline of Venom because Venom's been that he was a villain, then he became that anti-hero for a while. And
he's been the anti-hero much, but that's like his dominant length of time now. Yeah, Agent Venom and beyond, sure.
But that's what it was, is that they actually had something that they could draw upon. Where these other ones, they kind of just shot from the hip and see what they can make stick.
Dude, did they shoot from the hip or did they do some Three Stooges shit where they mounted the rifle to the chair and tied a string to the trigger and then hid behind the door and gave it the yank? I mean, I think they did something like that, if we're being completely honest, because none of these things hit.
Well, I mean,
besides Venom.
You've heard the old allergy. If you put like 1 billion monkeys in a room and have them randomly hit a keyboard, eventually they'll get Shakespeare. See, I think this kind of falls into that, where they made these shoes that look like keyboards and they had people walk around and actually wrote a script out.
Dude, I don't even know what to be said, because I actually, when I was writing up this bullet point about Madam Web and Craven, I went and I checked the Venom box office because I wanted to reference Venom 3 here as well, being that it underperformed. It didn't actually underperform because it actually had the lowest budget of the three. I don't remember where it ended up, but it ended up in the black. Like no pun Venom intended, I guess. It ended up being mildly profitable, but on a decrease from the total gross of Venom 1, which cleared $1.5 billion. Venom 2 struck just under $1 billion, and then this one I think was something like 545 mil, something like that. We'll call it that just for the conversation.
It's been diminishing returns on each
100%
on each of their movies after the first one.
Yeah. And and that's with a good actor. I mean, Tom Hardy's a good actor. I never heard anybody say anything bad about him. It's not like he's not a talented guy. But I think it's like you said, they cannibalized what story parts they thought were the best, and then they went off the rails. Like they got Carnage completely wrong, in my opinion. In part 2, wasted another interesting actor there with Woody Harrelson, and then here you are, Venom 3, and this is it. Like there's not going to be, like they're shuttering that whole idea.
Yep. Actually, I think they're looking at, like, the MCU is actually looking to cast a new Venom.
Yeah, as they should be. As they should, because as Tom Holland starts to age up a little bit and maybe age out of that role and moving on to do other projects, because like we were talking last week, there is some creative integrity that I understand that goes along with ego. People don't just want to be Spider-Man or James Bond or Batman or whatever for their whole careers. This dude also acts like in like Broadway stuff. So there's things he wants to do probably besides be your friendly neighborhood spider. So I think getting a older Tom Holland with a more mature Venom, a more mature Eddie Brock character, not played for all the same yucks as kind of Venom in the Sonyverse did. Put like a really serious spin on it.
And like the first one, the jokes landed. I think they tried to force it a little bit more as it went on. But the first one, I think the jokes landed pretty well. I actually really enjoyed the first Venom movie.
It was a solid BB- for me. It wasn't my favorite. I think there was a weird voice that Hardy was trying to do when he was in Eddie Brock mode, and I was like, all right, this is kind of weird, dude. Just do a regular thing. Stop being Bane. You know what I mean? Just use your voice.
Well, I mean,
But,
Eddie Brock is a dude from the Bronx, anyways. He should have had.
But he didn't have the Bronx accent because they were in San Francisco.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
and that's
it was just
where
weird.
Eddie Brock went to get a new start.
Right. But it wasn't a Bronx accent that he brought to San Francisco. It was just
No.
Tom Hardy doing something. But yeah, so that RIP Sonyverse, Venomverse, Villainverse. I don't even think they ever had an official name, which they needed. So there was that. But let's talk about one of the highs, and let's stick with comics just for a quick second before I forget everything that was great about it. Because I was low on this. If you remember our prediction for 2024, early in the year movie, Deadpool and Wolverine blows up to something like 1.8 billion or whatever it was, temporarily saving the MCU despite it being a homage to Fox comic book movies. It temporarily saved the superhero movie genre. A lot of fan goodwill in there. A lot of people came away from that movie happy.
Oh, a lot of people came away from that movie happy because it delivered on exactly what it promised, and we got to see something that we've all been wanting to see since the first X-Men movie came out. But I had no doubt that this movie was going to blow up because Ryan Reynolds would not let this. And then the publicity and the promotion that Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds put into promoting this movie was great. Like the little rap where they went back and forth.
They had the big Super Bowl commercial too, if I recall correctly, in 20. Wasn't that the big reveal?
Yeah,
2024 Super Bowl, right? Yeah.
And it was like the dumbest review. It was like, "Hey, you wanted to be Wolverine one more time in my movie?" He's like, "Sure," and he walks up the stairs.
No, those guys have great on-screen chemistry together for sure. But I didn't think it was going to bomb necessarily because, like you said, the Ryan Reynolds personal investment in the character. I mean, the guy stole the costume from the first movie. It's like a memento. So I knew it was going to be that, but I had honestly thought that that after No Way Home, that maybe the $1 billion superhero movie was just a wrap. Like maybe there just been enough final nails in the coffin, some of the garbage that came out after the fact, and people would just be over it. But no, they injected some temporary life into it. The cameos, I think, re-energized a lot of people just into going to see that. I know folks that have gone out to see that multiple times just to get to that one scene where all the cameos are introduced just to see fucking Blade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to see Snipes as Blade being a badass. Not even a badass, just him walking into a room. The badass came later.
Yeah, I mean, and then like all the different ties, like all the different actors in that movie as well. Like Chris Evans being like a big trash talker, and like Ryan Reynolds like you got to be in this. And then they set up that whole scene with him. He's like, you should have heard the stuff he was saying about you. And then
the after credits. Yeah, that was good. That was good. I thought one of the best. It's not really it's not fan service. It's like it's a crowd pleaser, right? Because I think everybody wanted to see probably Chris Evans as Captain America because it's been a hot minute. So when he makes his appearance, right? You're like, oh snap, here it comes. Oh, I only got one thing to say. And he's like, flame on. And I'm like, oh shit, he's Johnny Storm. Because of course, this is Fox movie callbacks. Here we go. You know, like it just like that movie hit for a lot of people. The opening sequence alone set to In Sync was hysterical.
Yes,
you know?
which ties to a joke from the second one,
right?
And he had Celine Dion. He said, "I just need you to turn it down to an 8." And he's like, "Celine Dion only knows 11," and it's like I should have got In Sync.
Hey, we got a comment here from Jack, who can put it on the big screen for me so I can read. Hey, Jack, I think Marvel's got 2 more billion-dollar films next 2 or 3 years. Dude, they could, but I don't think it's anything that's on the slate that we'll be talking about probably a little bit later on. We were talking briefly pre-show about Thunderbolts and Brave New World. There's no shot either of those sniffs $1 billion. I don't know if they might not sniff $500 million between them. We might actually get Marvel's level money on both.
I tell you which one right now. It probably won't be this year, but next year if they
Doomsday.
Doomsday, but I'm talking about
and Jack actually followed that up.
Yeah, you're right. It won't be like for like 4 more, and that's when they have the very first MCU X-Men movie.
Also a possibility. Yeah, Jack follows it up and says the next 2 Avengers films. Exactly, dude. But I mean, any solo project, it ain't it. I don't think the Fantastic Four is going to sniff $1 billion. It'll probably do okay. And looking, if I'm being serious, I think it might do all right. But the Fantastic Four has got a kind of a troubled, legacy. I was going to say reputation. Legacy, I think, is the fair way to put that.
Yeah.
But there was other Marvel news too. We'll just piggyback this. The RDJ announcement is Doom from was that Comic-Con in August? That was that broke the internet for a day and a half.
Wasn't that our
YouTube
very
videos.
second episode too? Was that one?
I don't know.
I think it was either our
Might have
first
been.
or second episode was Comic-Con.
Yeah, 'cause
where
this
we
is only
started the
Frostcast
Frostcast.
23. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. This is only 23. So that was big news. And then, you know, a couple of weeks ago, there was a rumor that turned into a confirmation, I think, that Chris Evans is coming back in some capacity as well, which is, dude, why don't they just get Chris Hemsworth to come back as not Fat Thor and do something?
Which
know?
a lot of speculation that I've seen is that he actually is coming back as Old Man Captain America.
Yeah. I hope it's that, because I heard somebody put out the case for why it would be the Hail Hydra cap, and I'm like, they absolutely do not need that. No shot. Nobody wants that. That's the kind of thing, like when we were talking about girl bosses the other day, how fiction's full of great female characters that have always existed. You couldn't right now, present day, actually produce a good one because people are so sick of the trope that even if it's done correctly now, if people get a sniff of anything, like we're so oversensitively calibrated to scream woke on the radar that if we gave somebody an Ellen Ripley, Sarah Connor, Bride, what's her face from The Fifth Element, like we gave you one of them now,
Multipass?
like that's a wrap, even if it was good. Who?
Multipass?
Multipass, Lilu, Multipass. No, Mr. Willis, Dallas. Thank you. Yeah, no, we can't get away with those right now. So these are big casting rumors that were pretty slap. And is it enough to offset any of the bad shit that happened? Probably not. We'll see.
I did see them because it's trying to lead into Secret Wars.
Mhm.
Them doing the anti-Avengers, like the actual opposite of all the.
I mean, I could see it, dude, but again, I don't need. You remember that game? One of the games we're going to talk about that bombed in AAA gaming this year, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. People are over watching the good guys get dragged, converted, twisted, beaten down, disrespect. I think like that would work in 2005.
But see, I think
Like, okay, cool.
I think it could still play out if we want to stick with the DC, like you said, Suicide Squad. If you did Injustice, where you had the good Superman go to another realm to fight the bad Superman.
You need both. That's what I'm saying. You need that. But see, these assholes would only give us, you know, King Dickhead Superman in Nightmare that they were setting up with the Snyder stuff. You know, Joker killed Lois, Superman evil, Batman leads the resistance. They'll kill Batman in the first frame, and then it's going to be some scrub legacy version of another character that's the main hero. We're done. I think that the genre needs to evolve past the deconstruction, or they're fucked long term. You know, but like I said, I don't think that doesn't get course corrected in 25 with the offerings that are on the slate. You have some hopes for Thunderbolts. Maybe you can talk about that now, or you can sit on that.
I don't have
forward
high
to.
hopes. My big one is Brave New World. I'm actually.
I thought you were more. I thought you were up
America.
on the Thunderbolts one. My bad. I got it backwards.
No, yeah, you got it backwards. It's the Brave New World. I think it could actually be a good version of Sam Wilson's Captain America movie, especially introducing the new Thunderbolt Ross, having the Red Hulk in it. Which they need to not play it up. Like, we don't need to see the change of Thunderbolt Ross turning into the Red Hulk. We just need the Red Hulk to show up, because that's how he showed up in the comics. You didn't find out it was Thunderbolt Ross until like almost like 5 years into it of who is the Red Hulk. So yeah.
You were saying before that you had like Civil War vibes, and not Civil War vibes, Winter Soldier vibes.
Yeah,
from this, it was very espionage-y, like what we were hoping Secret Invasion was going to be, very heavy on Nick Fury and the spy stuff. Didn't get it there. That's not for this year's show. That was the year before.
Yeah,
yeah. I'll keep my fingers crossed. I'll probably check it out, but you know, is it going to be enough to bring multiple butts to seats? You know, to hit a profitability number? The movie's been reshot 75 fucking times. I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna pan out. But why don't we switch gears back to one of the lows? Let's get this one out of the way. I know this is your favorite of yours. You know where we're going. It needs to be done. Sorry to do it to you. So the Acolyte happened over the summer.
And the Acolyte controversial TV show of all time.
Was it really? I think it was fairly unilaterally dogged.
I was being facetious.
There we are. Good for you. There it was. This good stuff. The only thing more fun than talking about how bad the Acolyte was, because nobody was angry that it was bad. I don't even know people that got angry that it like broke canon at this point with the stupid Yoda thing at the end. I got a little butthurt at the Jedi are all incompetent. Nobody knows how to run an operation. Like that was all kind of dumb. But that was just bad writing. It's not canon to anybody. It's not. But the only thing more fun than talking about how bad it was literally, do you remember that 1 week period after like the first couple of episodes? It was like 2 weeks where we were watching the rating drop in real time on Rotten Tomatoes, like all the way down to like 11%. And like people were sending updates to each other on Twitter, like it's 19, 17. Oh my God, it's countdown. Got down to like 11. And then then they shut reviews off.
Yep.
Right. And then they capped it at like 13 for a while. And then it crawled back up to like 18.
And then it changed.
What a ride.
It changed the way Rotten Tomato actually does its rating.
Yes. Yes, I forgot all about that.
It led to the whole change of Rotten Tomatoes now.
Which is the second time they've had to change the rules on how that works to protect some guard. Remember when they did that in 2018 for Captain Marvel? They capped reviews. And they're like, oh, no. You can't do that. No, we're not allowing that. And then Amazon did that with their Prime Video reviews of Rings of Power Episode 1. You know, if you had more than 8 perceived negative words in a paragraph, even if it was like an articulate, well-reasoned paragraph and critical review, they're like, no, it doesn't count. 5 stars. Dude, it can't be. It's statistically impossible. But dude, the Acolyte, dude, famous for coining things like the power of many. Fire in space was an expression I never thought I'd see trending on Twitter, but there it was, fire in space. You remember that?
Yeah. And then the people trying to defend it, like, oh, fire in space. They show like an explosion from like a spaceship in Star Wars. I'm like, yes, the fire came from the burning oxygen on the inside and have quickly dissipated because it's in space.
I remember people trying to show me pictures of the fucking Death Star exploding as like the cover fire for like this chick working with a blowtorch, like out there with like the burning part of the ship that she was fixing, right?
Yeah, all of that dissipated quickly. A lot of it was just particles still flying, where this just sat there and burned.
It was just bad. And dude, and then they were like, oh, if you thought fire in space was bad, we're gonna set this whole mountain cavern base on fire on the outside on the stone. Like, all right. I mean, even if you covered it in napalm and lit it, it would still burn itself out without, burning the stone. And it was just like it was just like a lantern. It wasn't, to be clear, it wasn't napalm. It was fucking hallway lantern that she broke and then caught a book on fire with. And it spread across the stone floor. Okay.
But just remember, it only bombed because of neo-Nazis and
us. We did it. We
racism and sexism and
yeah, dude, we have so much power that we forced the Acolyte into submission, got season 2 canceled, but somehow that power doesn't have a flip side of the coin where we actually get them to make shit that we want. Somehow. You color me surprised. I don't know how that works. We got that kind of pull over there with Kathleen and everybody else that we dunked on the Acolyte hard enough. We did that. Never mind the fact that the highest you guys charted in your most viewed episode was like 9 out of 10 in every review, in every viewership aggregator I could find. Illuminate, Samba, all of them. You peaked at 9, and that was the power of many episode. Which was, can we talk about that? Can we talk about the swaying space witches for a couple of seconds because that was funny.
That all died because one link was broken because they touched their face.
Dude. Because Jedi Trinity is so powerful that she was just like, nah, dog, we're done with this bullshit.
But she died to the look over there trick.
Stupid, dude. What a waste of a Jedi Wookiee, right? What a waste of I keep calling her Darth Trinity. You notice that? Like I'm doing it again. I did that throughout the entire review cycle of the show, right? Waste of her. Dude, the twins thing was stupid. There was no mystery. We got the metal face guy? Technical name was the Stranger, right? Was that his?
The Stranger. Right?
The Sith, not Sith. You'd call me a Sith. We got Darth Plagueis hiding in the shadows like a pedo creeper in the last episode there, whenever that was. That was stupid. Second to last episode, whenever. Motivational changes. I know that's your favorite. You talk about the motivational changes in the same episode, in the same scene.
Yeah, I mean, they change motivations more often than people change outfits at the Oscars. I mean, come on.
It was that one walk through the woods. I remember May literally changed her motivations like 3 times. It was like a 5-minute walk screen time. I mean, it was like an 8-hour probably thing on the show, but still 5 minutes. She's like, nah, dog, we're good. And then the very last episode, they're all the OSHA's gone bad, kills Jedi Saul guy from Squid Games.
Yeah.
All he did was love her, try to protect her and raise her, right? Gotta kill her, gotta destroy the past, kill it if you have to, right? The three of them are on the run. They have a ship and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna leave together and you're just gonna go get captured or some
Yeah,
shit." I'm
you're,
like,
you're
"What?"
gonna stay behind because they have no idea that we're twins.
Right. Dude, God, I can't. That show is so remarkably done. Now, let's not forget the Jedi that, May rolled up on and just said, "I need you to kill yourself." And he was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
I've been in forced meditation coma for a decade, but since you're here, I mean, I guess if you brought me the poison, I guess I'll do it. What?
It
That
seems
show
like
is
a
just
good
so
idea
bad.
at the time.
Didn't it though? I love the fact that they tell me in one episode, for budgetary reasons, we had to have Kalnaka just appear dead in his chair with the saber slash wound, and like that was that. But then 3 episodes later, we see the Wookiee trying to run full Wookiee rage with the lightsaber. Now that was a great scene too. Is the Wookiee's got the one dude pinned by the neck against the wall with his lightsaber in the other hand, and then the scrawny 140-pound dude with the reverse saber grip upward is somehow holding the Wookiee's sword hand at bay. Like he can rip an arm out of your socket, but he can't burn your face with a lightsaber.
He just can't overpower you because you
Crush your throat. Yeah. Nope. Now, also important to remember, the one chick gives herself a haircut with the lightsaber, right? She
perfectly cut. Perfectly cut with one swipe.
It's basically like a
it's
torch.
Even.
It would cauterize. It would, but still. But then also when the lightsaber blade is being parried into that same Jedi's reverse grip face by the Wookiee, it didn't burn his face. Okay. I mean, I guess it was there. Sure. Oh, dude, so bad. I'm so glad we covered that and we had the Armorist on for backup just to make sure it wasn't the male perspective dunking on the show. I think her exact words were, "This isn't fucking Star Wars. What's going on?"
It wasn't the male dunking on it. It was the intelligent fans dunking on it.
And by intelligent, we really just mean anybody above room temp IQ. Like, honestly, it didn't take a lot to see this was fucking terrible. It scraped a new low for their brand.
You graduated elementary school and just make your parents proud, but you could quit after that and then still be able to dunk on this show.
Hopefully there's a family business you can go work at, because I don't see you getting higher on the corporate level after that, because it was just bad. And let's talk before we bounce. Let's talk about the petition. You remember that? The petition to save the Acolyte. Oh, dude, this is it. The fans have spoken. It's like 75,000 signatures. Like 2 months later, the petition to make sure there wasn't a season 2 had like 200,000. It was wild.
Had 200,000 the first week, and they hit like 500,000 within a month.
Yeah. You're like, no, guys, sorry. Like the 75,000 of you that signed this probably should have watched the show and made like videos and done live streams and talked about how great it was. Because honestly, I've asked enough people in various places online and in real life, just tell me your favorite part about it. Like, what's the best episode? Oh, the Jedi battle in the woods. Okay, interesting visual. What was the best story beat though? Crickets, dude. Crickets. Like nobody had anything to say. I don't know if that was maybe your experience in your real life circles or not, but that's what I got up here.
No one talked about it in my circles. Everyone kind of just bypassed it after the first couple episodes. They're like, we're just done.
Yeah, I think it was episode 3 that did the whole, it's not really the Force, it's the thread, and it's not something you can use, but here's how you use it. Wait a minute, what? Like you,
and then try to make Luke or make Anakin not as special.
Yeah. Oh, because they had to do the Immaculate Force conception bullshit, which definitely should have just been clones. Should have been an offshoot of the Snoke thing. We already knew that was shit they were playing with.
Make them outside universes.
There you go. That's a thing. Exists in world. There's precedent set there. But yeah, that's enough of the Acolyte. I'm already bored talking about that bullshit, and I'm pretty sure you'd be good with never talking about that awful show ever again, because
not even brought up, not even used as comparison. It is done,
dude. I know. Just see, I can't. I got to throw the caveat. That's an asterisk going forward.
You got it. Yeah, I did the Flash meme of having like the tomb, and you put the Acolyte and do the peace symbol on his.
Dude, I've seen that meme. That's a thing. I've seen that used for a bunch of shit this year. I can actually use that. I'll do one more low real quick, just because it's not a big U topic, but you're just aware of it. I've seen that meme you're talking about, but applied to AAA gaming having a terrible year in 2024. I know you've been away from gaming for a while because you've got a lot of side projects that you got going on, but I've told you, Warzone's in a bad spot, player number wise. It's fallen off a cliff this year. Black Ops 6 is seeing a bunch of people just depart the game and go back to older titles. we've talked before about indie games on Steam, because you're a big turn-based guy. We were talking about the next Civ game coming out. Something like 80% of the games being played on Steam right now are older than 8 years. You know what I mean? Or they're remastered, something like Resident Evil 4 that came out this year earlier. Great remaster that I got on the Xbox.
Final Fantasy VII, still one of the top sellers.
Saying, I mean, their second installment of that slightly underperformed, but it's still a beloved fan game. Dead Space had a re-release that came out a couple of years ago. So people are playing those kind of games. They know their quality. And if you remaster them for 4K, 120 frames, people are down. If you got the hardware, people are in.
Yeah.
Like here's a list of games that have bombed, right? I mentioned Warzone. I know you're familiar with Concord because that was the shooter that came out that they then wrapped in less than 2 weeks. They put it on ice in 10 days with a production cost of over $250 million.
I think they're under investigation for fraud right now as well.
They should be.
Yeah, like the way they did it and the way they had the alpha and had people pay into it, and then it just kind of went away. Like that is definitely a sign of a scam and fraud, like just to defraud people to get money. And I think what Steam issued a 100% refund on it within like 2 weeks.
Yeah, Steam got ahead of it, and I think they even suspended their like they have that play limit thing. Like if you play more than 2 hours on Steam, that like the refund doesn't really happen typically. I think they suspended that. So if you actually enjoyed Concord, God bless you, and call the 800 number. It's at the bottom of the screen. They gave you the out where like servers are going down. Like you can't play this offline, so we'll hook you up. But I mean, those aren't the only big ones that flopped, and things like Concord, that's a hero shooter. It was like bad Overwatch, right? And then of course you get industry shows that show up and they do their same thing. Oh, it's toxic players and the genre's tired. I'm like, yeah, but games like Deadlock and now Marvel Rivals have like 30 million people that played, millions of concurrent players. So is it that the superhero genre is tired and that the hero shooter genre is tired, or maybe we're just tired of garbage?
It's more tired of garbage and bad writing. I do believe a little bit in the superhero fatigue, a little bit, just because it was like every movie for like a year. But with it, when it comes to games, I mean, like the reason why Warzone died out is because they're not taking care of the cheaters, and you just get tired of being sniped from halfway across the board just because someone has that aim assist,
walls and everything else.
Yeah, seeing through walls, and
millions of them, dude, millions of them. The other games too that were came under heavy fire early for all the same reasons. Like you remember Veilguard, Dragon Age, that should have been a killer title, but word gets out. We see pictures of characters in development. We get statements made by people in the studio, and they're using all the typical buzzwords about what their focus was going into the game. Things like inclusion and diversity. Like, dude, it's an RPG. You can have your character creator, but that should never be that's never the focal selling point. We've had character creators in games for how many years now? 5, 10, I don't know. Dude, make whatever character you want, but your own numbers reveal what your marketing plan should be. Like I saw somebody lamenting on Twitter, we gave you this amazing, might not have been for Veilguard, but just as an example, we've made this incredible, I think it was Starfield, as a matter of fact. We gave you this incredible custom character maker designer thing, and 87% of players made like white hetero male template based characters. I'm like, what does that tell you? Like, it tells you these are the people probably buying and playing your game. So why would you think a selling point would be to market to the 1% of the remaining, 13%? Like, it's stupid. It's completely bass backwards, dude.
Like you can have it as part of your game, but it shouldn't be the selling point. Like you have a character creation, you offer those ideals into your character creation, and that's it. Like you could have whatever you want as a character creation. It's fantasy. There's multiple races, multiple different takes on every type of person out there. So you could have fun with it, but trying to make it like the center focal point of your game, you're taking away from the story, you're taking away from the gameplay for character creation, which should only take you 5 minutes.
Right now, people spending hours in there. Hours, right? And then they released it as a separate thing you could do just to have the character creator. That's like that's built-in therapy,
And most people take a template of a character anyways.
Right. I randomize a couple of things and change it to like shaved head, and that's it. Shaved head and the beard. That's it, and then I'm done. But like you mentioned story, Veilguard in particular let it bleed right over into the story, whereby if you responded to an NPC, no less, if you didn't do the gender respecting thing in game, there's like a penalty in game for it. Like they're not only are they preaching to you, they're punishing you like in game for your actions, which I think is beyond stupid. And that's on top of doing things whereby people can do the side by side and show you. I don't remember. I'm not a big Dragon Age guy. My brother, if he's in the chat, hopefully at some point he could tell us. There's a half human, half dragon race, right?
Yeah, that's an all D&D
it's
type
typical,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
In this game, though, they have in their traditional appearance. They're rugged. They got like the bone, like horny ridges on their heads. They look intense and feel. They look like Klingons. They look badass. And of course, you get that version of the character in this game. And what do you get? It's femmed down. Everything's soft. It looks more human in the eyes and everything else. It's very pretty. And I'm like, and and they chose that. That's not something that like you made for your game. Like that was in their marketing like packet. That's what they wanted to show off. And I'm like, well, I'm not buying your game. Kingsley is not buying your game. I got a bunch of people that love Dragon Age 1, 2, and Origins for all their problems and flaws. We're out. So when we see that stuff bleed over, we're out. Like that's it. Enjoy your bomb. Looking at you, Witcher 4, making Ciri the main character and making her a Witcher. How'd that work out for the show? Not well. Not well.
Spoiler.
Thank you. Anyway,
Didn't work out.
Spoiler alert: the show has been off the rails. Go ahead. I was going to bump it to positive, but yeah.
Yeah, I got some questions for you.
Shoot.
So we've talked about like you said you're going to go to positive. I want to do one more like negative.
Yeah. Good. I told you it's your show too, bro.
We've already talked about Madam Web. So if you could only watch one of these movies, which one are you going to watch? Madam Web or Joker 2?
Okay, I haven't seen Joker 2, so by default I would pick that. Just so I could get in on the how bad is this thing. My gut reaction would have been to say, well, Sydney Sweeney's in Madam Web, but clearly not the version of Sydney Sweeney I wanted. You know what I mean? So not worth it. I could stomach Joker 2 as like a fact-finding research, morbid curiosity kind of thing.
Okay.
You didn't see it either though, did you?
No, I didn't. I have not seen it.
How would you answer the same question?
I would probably, that would be a hard one.
You're going to watch Madam Web, aren't you?
Yeah, I might rewatch Madam Web because I actually enjoyed the first Joker.
I loved it.
And I've heard that there's so many insults. Like if you were a fan of the first Joker, you're going to just completely hate the second Joker.
Oh, I know that going in. Yeah, I know that. That's why I think I'd do that instead of rewatching Madam Web and being like, I mean, if I'm going to film school and they're using this as an example of how not to do it, I'd probably watch it again. But other than that, there's other new stuff that's bad that I need to watch for a first time go. You know what I mean? You can't just rewatch the same bad shit.
Okay, so I know you've watched both of these.
Okay. Fire away.
So Madam Web or the remake of The Crow?
Okay, now here we go. Now I'm taking this one a little bit personal. I love the original Crow with Brandon Lee. Love it. It's one of my favorites. It Can't Rain All the Time. Dude, I love that movie. I love the ending. Love the beginning. Love the pacing. Love the characters. Love the exact perfect tone of the 90s. Banging soundtrack. This Crow had none of it. None of it. Nobody can name me a song at any given point from the soundtrack of this movie. Not a single shot, right? Eric and Shelley, disgusting human beings in this movie. No chemistry. No point. The ending of the movie is the Crow fist fighting a 70-year-old dude and punching him into the ground. That's it. Not Eric Draven depowered fighting top dollar on the top of a Gothic spire and then dumping him off the edge because he implants all the pain that he absorbed from Shelley's death into top dollar. None of that. You watched one of the what's the family of good actors there? Skarsgård. We watched a Skarsgård. We watched Pennywise punch this old man for 3 minutes. Fucking stupid. I'll watch Madam Web again because you know what? Dakota Johnson is attractive. Sydney Sweeney is attractive. Who was the other chick in there that was kind of the one who didn't want her dad to get deported? She's attractive. I could watch that again just for them. That's it. But fucking The Crow, oh my God, was that bad? That might have been the worst movie of the year. That might have been worse than Madam Web just because it dunked on the past. It really did. We were trying to tell our own story. Go fuck yourself, Crow. You ain't no Crow. You ain't even Russell Crowe. Fat Crow, not like Gladiator Crow.
Yeah, Fat Crow. Like Land of Bad Crow. Have you seen that dumpster fire of a movie?
No.
That That movie is so bad. Like it starts off like okay, this okay, they're just having a little fun, and then it just keeps going further and further, and then it just takes them right off the cliff, like right off.
So the trajectory is like slanted down slightly, and then it just
keeps getting worse
zero
and worse and worse and worse. That is a dumpster fire of a movie on Netflix. If you haven't watched it and you just want to watch something bad for the purpose of watching something bad, watch The Land of Bad. They were not clever in the name on that one.
I'm only watching bad shit when we're gonna double team it.
Or just read the Reddit reviews.
And if you want to have some fun, read the Reddit reviews of Land of Bad.
Yeah, you might have to text me the name of the movie just so I can have it on hand, and I'll take a look at that. Yeah, no, dude, not The Crow. Let's just say there won't be 3 crappy sequels to that Crow movie. That's a fact. That's never getting. The Crow is done. That's a dormant franchise going forward. All
right, let's do positive again. That was
positive. I can do positive. We can just get it's another slightly adjacent political take, but you'd be able to comment on it. So we know the adage, go woke, go broke. It's been substantiated in several returns and several movie grosses, viewership numbers on streaming shows. So we know that holds up, right? Here's a few examples from animation this year where they got their shit together, made $1 trillion, and hopefully they spin this forward into 2025. Inside Out 2, $1.5 billion. Yep. Surprisingly very good. I enjoyed that wildly when I brought my kid to see that. The Wild Robot might have been one of my favorite movies of the year.
I've heard a lot of good things about that, especially from fathers.
Yes. Oh, dude. Any parent, it's weird too. Any parent would have that. It's definitely a mom and kid movie because the center character is a female robot. Roz is female, but I think like any parent literally knows, right? We just saw, it's not all the way animated, but Sonic 3. We know that fits a certain mold of, hey, we heard what you guys were saying. We're going to get our shit together and relaunch. Everything's going to be fun. That was a great film. Transformers 1 underperformed, but again, message free. I think the marketing killed that one, so that's not a great example to slide in. There was one more. Despicable Me 4 cleaned up when that came out over the summer. What do you think for 2025? Have we now seen the positive impact of just stripping the message out and just making a standard, not even a traditional values movie, just making a standard traditionally constructed movie, right? Pays money, gets butts in seats, sells lunch boxes, sells t-shirts, gets people to buy on streaming. Do people buy kid DVDs anymore? Is that a thing? Or do people just buy the VOD and just keep it saved? Is that kind of what we're doing now? I don't know.
I'm guessing the VOD would probably be the best of what
secondary market for what it is.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? The
market is kind of dead, I believe.
Which is stupid. They shot themselves in the foot. Everybody thinking they needed their own streaming service. That was dumb. They're all going to go under soon anyway. But what do you think for 2025? Have we seen enough attitude correction where maybe they can right the ship and just steer towards profitability, especially with this animated stuff like things out of Pixar, like in DreamWorks? I mean, can they just get their shit together now? Have they had enough proof in the pudding?
I mean, this year you did see a huge course correction in the movies, especially from that barely passing D company out there. Is
D-.
Yeah, D-.
That might be my favorite.
They're just kind of going back to what made them successful to begin with. And that's just tell good stories. You tell good stories, people are going to come see it. You don't need to be all plugged into what is the current topic of the day, what's the political topic of the day. Just tell good stories.
Yeah, I think the only thing we should be mining like the news for in like movies for Disney, right? Like when something like Madagascar Ice Age comes out, they've referenced some stupid like celebrity thing to make like the joke. You know what I mean? And then that's it. Like we're not making Ice Age 7 and then trying to tell the story of how Diddy got captured and all the ill shit that happened behind the scenes at the Diddy party. Like we don't need that. We don't need that movie. We don't need anything like that. And I'm glad that there was enough movies that I could populate this list and say, hey, I took my kid to see Despicable Me, to see Inside Out, despite my reservations about that movie. And if you remember, I had them. I was like, I don't know. I could see where it's trending in this direction. Didn't. You know what I mean? And they just told a movie that was literally about a little girl growing up, crap she was starting to experience as she turned into a teen and dealing with anxiety, which is something everybody knows. Like the finale of that movie is Riley talking herself down from a panic attack. Like it's very real implications for kids and grown-ups, and they handled it very well. So I gave it the Winterwolf stamp of approval when I did the Solo review. And the same thing with The Wild Robot. The Wild Robot, dude, if you haven't, I highly recommend you go back and see it, because it's a throwback in a way to a bunch of the 80s kind of movie cartoons like Iron Giant, where it hits with like a slightly more mature tone, not subject matter, just like tone, where you treat your kids like they're not idiots, like that they have attention spans and that not everything is colorful hunky-dory all the time. Like there's a scene in the movie that involves like rescuing other animals during a blizzard, and the protagonists don't succeed in rescuing all of them, but one of them says to the other, you know, we didn't get that one, but there's more. We have to go. Other people need us. So there's like a growth moment there for a main character. And like, that's all, like literally that's all you need to do. And then I make a video and I go, hey, bring your kids to The Wild Robot. It was great. Like it's a parent-child movie. You'll love it. You know? So I think that they should stick to the, we realize woke made us broke, past tense. So we're going to go ahead and just not do that for a while just to see what happens. You know, I think that'd be a wise way to go. We talk about a couple of movie bombs that aren't in genre and just kind of, and I haven't seen any of these, but I know they bombed famously. Well, we talked about The Crow. The other one that bombed atomically besides The Crow and Joker too. Just remember Borderlands? Borderlands was the thing this year.
Yeah, I had that on my list of movies this year just to remind me of what actually came out this year.
You didn't see that, did you? You didn't get out to that. I think I saw
No,
that.
I did not see that, but I have heard some things like where you actually see crew members helping people up. Like you could see them clear as day helping the actors up out of like tunnels and stuff like that.
Dude, who was the lead character? Who was the lead actress? That was not Helen Mirren. What's her name? From Cate Blanchett.
Cate Blanchett.
Cate Blanchett was the lead. Jamie Lee Curtis was in it, but Cate Blanchett played Lilith, right?
Yeah, and then you had Kevin Hart.
Right, as Roland. Okay. I mean, you know what Roland looks like in the game, dude. He's like 6'4", built like a fucking linebacker. That sound like Kevin Hart to you?
Let's hit 5'0" Kevin Hart.
Right. Who doesn't even get to be Kevin Hart in the movie except for like one part. Like Kevin Hart's funny, don't get me wrong. Like the dude's pretty funny. I've seen some of his stand-ups. I've seen him live.
Yeah.
Like funny dude. Not in this movie, because you know why? He was playing a soldier, like a brass tacks, balls to the wall soldier, 5'4", 100 nothing, right? Cate Blanchett playing Lilith, bounty hunter, whatever they made her into in this movie, right? She's like 70, trying to run, jump, tumble over the oil drum, and then dual wield akimbo, looking all around, ringing up targets. Like doesn't hit. Sorry, it doesn't work. Famously tanked, but here's the serious movies that tanked. And as a non-serious drama guy, have you seen Tom Hanks? He did Here. Did you see that one?
Did not see that.
Okay, that bombed. Just put it for posterity and put it out there. What about Fly Me to the Moon? I think Scarlett Johansson was in that one.
Yeah, and Channing Tatum.
Okay, so that had some star power in that one. Bombed. Okay. And then Megalopolis tore a hole in the space-time continuum in terms of like budget versus return. So like, isn't it weird that people complain about superhero fatigue in the one breath, but then in the other breath, we're not turning out for these kind of dramas? Or is that more of an indictment that these suck? You know?
I think it's more.
So I don't know.
I think it has more to play with people don't have discretionary income to go out and see these movies, and then on streaming, you're not getting the actual return of people watching them when they hit streaming.
True. You're saying it's something like maybe Here with Tom Hanks. That's like a known name. I think he's a weirdo, but some people still like him. You know what I mean? He's got that vibe to him. Yeah, maybe that will re-perform higher a little bit on streaming. Don't know. The only other negative I really had before, because we're coming up on like 50 minutes or whatever here, I just wanted to talk about the Snow White trailer a couple of times and how many times that's received 1 million dislikes and been ratioed into oblivion. Dude, is there any fucking hope for this movie come March?
I don't believe so. I really don't.
Dude, I'm going. I want in on this. I want to be there firsthand and do an out of the theater review walking to my car.
Just do it straight from your phone.
Yeah, I may get a GoPro or fucking the selfie stick thing and just hold it out in front of me and just go.
All you need is to turn do the reverse camera on your phone and have a Bluetooth in.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that.
Good to go.
Dude, I don't think any movie in history has ever received like 2 million plus dislikes on a trailer.
on a trailer.
On a trailer. You know what I mean? Like, it's got, I mean, how do you make a Snow White movie and spend like Avengers level money making it? You know, it's the only movie that's been redone more than Brave New World. It's by the same company. They're fucked.
You have different take. You've had different takes on the same story like 100 times, and
dude, but it's worse than that, man. It's like it's the main star can't get out of her own way. You know, Prince Charming's a stalker. Weird. All you guys have all seen the clips. They're used in every intro video ever on her, right? She's been in like 3 other things that have all tanked except the Hunger Games, the prequel there. That movie it crossed over into the black a little bit. Like she just had a movie bomb called Y2K. She can't keep her mouth shut. Every time she gets on social media, she's injecting herself into like the Palestine situation or the Trump stuff. And the movie's already doomed, right? But then you get other folks early on in production like Dinklage, Lord of the Dwarves himself, saying that it's not proper in 2024 to hire little people to play dwarves. So what do? They uncast 7 people from their jobs and then draw in the 7 magical misfits that we saw in that one picture where they're walking down the grasslands and they all look like they're addicted to meth. They all need detox. Like it.
And then they fired them in CGI.
And then they fired them and spent another $100 million coming up with the nightmare fuel that's in this trailer that people have downvoted, disliked into oblivion.
Yeah.
Like, guys, call us. We're happy to advise. We can save you hundreds of millions of dollars. Any of us, not just us. You just pick a random critical channel and just listen to what they're saying. You know, to get this. This movie wants me to believe that Gal Gadot is jealous of Rachel Zegler's appearance, right? And when they heard that, them being the creators, right? They were like, no, that's not what fairest anymore means. Now it means literally like who's the most just. So why would Gal Gadot, if she's evil, be asking the mirror that she's just? She knows she's not that kind of just. That's not Snow White. She
doesn't need that advisement. She already knows she's the evil queen.
She's the evil queen. She's
it's in her name.
Out of the dress, right? It's in the name. She doesn't have a name. She's the evil queen, right? And then as I saw the meme, it must have been an AI or a Photoshop, but it's Zegler as Snow White, and she's holding up a sign that says "Down with the patriarchy." And then the caption is, "Who wants to tell her it's a queen in charge?" And I'm like, well, fucking there's your movie, right? Somebody just tell her that. It'd be like when they do the Star Wars meme and it's like the Death Star just blows up Alderaan at the beginning and then it says Rian Johnson, like the end Rian Johnson, like it's just if we've accelerated it. That's how you do Snow White. No, we just tell her, oh no, it's a queen in charge, girl boss. Oh, okay. No revolution. Because that's what everybody's vision of Snow White is, that the rebel leader. We did that live action too already, didn't we?
Yeah,
Snow White Winter's War with Kirsten Stewart, right?
Yeah, Kirsten Stewart and
Thor. Thor was in it.
Yeah, Thor was in it. He was the huntsman.
Right.
And then
was Charlize Theron the queen?
Yeah,
was that her?
it.
Yeah, okay.
That was the name I was looking for.
Yeah. Yep. I haven't seen it, but we've done this. And that wasn't good either. Like people forget that wasn't good. So we don't need crap live action, not Snow White, discount Snow White, Snow Brown, whatever people are calling her. Like, I don't care that she can sing, and she can sing. Like, I've heard her sing from the Broadway thing she did, and then the movie version. Like, she can carry a tune, but like, she seems like a miserable human being that like Brie Larson's probably really glad came on the scene and took over that mantle of like most disliked person within genre. Like, honestly, that's some covering fire and a half. My God, was that was a fun little list of crap lows, and then just honorable mention here. Echo was a show that came out this year. The Echo Marvel show. And don't forget Agatha All Along also happened. Also failed to chart anywhere meaningful.
I think Agatha actually carried her audience. So
yes.
it hit the people who were supposed to hit.
Yes.
Like the people who wanted to see it came back and watched every episode. Like it didn't decline in viewership. Nope.
It was consistent. So, to be fair, it's that, but I think is that not then a good microcosm of what their entire approach should be? Like they scaled back a budget to deliver a niche product to a niche audience. It hit, and even when it hit who it was supposed to, it still failed to chart globally on like top 10 lists from like Samba TV, Illuminate, Nielsen, whoever else tracks these things. But you still delivered a product people wanted. So enough people didn't cancel their Disney Plus because they wanted to watch Agatha week to week over the summer into Halloween. You know what I mean? So I'll give you that, but I'm still putting on the lows just because it was horribly bad. I thought it was horribly bad. I don't think I have any other highs on the list. We kind of talked about Sonic 3. I'll probably do a solo review of that, but it's good to see that trilogy's alive and banging. Shadow was awesome.
We have one more high that we have talked about. Actually, it's two combined because we talked about the new king of streaming shows, and that's HBO.
Oh, dude, that was top on my list too.
Yeah, retaking the mantle. HBO coming in strong, finishing the year strong with back-to-back bangers. And we're talking about Penguin and then right into Dune Prophecy.
Dude, off the top ropes out of nowhere for both of these, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect from either one of them. I knew Penguin was on the radar. I've said that before, but you surprised me with Dune Prophecy being like, hey, we're going to watch that, right? And I'm like, okay, I guess. No expectations. But week to week, that's probably the most. I mean, the Penguin ran 9 episodes or whatever, right? And Dune just ran 6.
Yeah, Dune was 6.
So like those 15 weeks, Sunday night was awesome.
Yeah, it was really good. Like we went in with low expectations going into Penguin, just be like, well, how well is because the Penguin was a side character in the Batman movie. It's set
it's a tie-in, right?
The Batman universe. But like the way it tied in, like it picked up right where the movie left off, and then just the character development, the week to week, the drama between everybody, it was actually really well done. Not really surprised. She is a talented actress, but Kristen Milotti, she came in out of nowhere and just like, I'm going to put on the performance of the year in this show.
All the awards need to be dedicated out to this show. There were no bad performances. There were no bottle episodes. They used flashbacks appropriately to great effect every time they did it. It had a heartbreaking, soul-crushing conclusion. And then right when they were done doing that to your emotions, they gave you the creep fest of the year in the closeout scene where he's dancing with I don't remember her name. Not Sophia.
Eve.
Eve, yes, thank you. The girlfriend. I'm like, oh God, dude, Norman Bates. Dude, I called it 4 episodes before that. I said there's some Norman Bates vibes going on with this dude, and we saw where it ended.
Yeah.
So the next season, if Oz puts on the mom's dress or some shit, I'll be like, it's not woke, guys. It's just creepy. It's just weird because this dude's broken. But then, dude, to follow that up with Dune, dude, give me you're a bigger Dune guy than I am, and I liked it. So where were you at? Just like we've had some space in between now. Is it still rank? Is it still hit?
Yeah. It still hits. It was a great show. Like it had some points where it was kind of slow, where it probably might have lost its audience a little bit. But overall, like if you get past those little, like 2 little slogs they had, you went right. Yeah, you went right into a banger. That the last 4 episodes are must-see TV.
Oh, for sure, dude. And I think my gripe with that show, like you just said, is it's slogged early on, but it was never not compelling or never turned me off from wanting to watch more. Yeah. And I think the marketing for this show really let it down because I don't recall this appearing on my HBO Max front page literally until the day it came out. Like no teaser clip in the banner. No, hey, don't forget.
See, that's where I saw it.
Such and such. I never got it.
It was at the beginning of
when you signed in.
The second to last episode of Penguin. It was the bumper.
Nope,
at the beginning.
I never got that. Dude, I never got anything in any programming or on just the front page when you turn the app on. There was nada. Like they didn't do themselves any favors. And you'd think that in a year where they just had a major feature film come through and do pretty well, that they'd have probably had a trailer for the show at the end of the damn movie or at the beginning of the damn movie I made. Just to put that on the radar for folks. We've got a few minutes left. What I want to do just to wrap us up, give me your what was your favorite thing we watched all year, even if it was something I didn't cooperatively see. What was your number 1 for the year?
I will have to say it's Dune Part 2.
Dune the movie. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
The movie. The Dune Part 2 was one of my favorite things I watched this year. I really enjoyed that. I think I always forget names, but the main actor.
Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah, Timothée Chalamet. Like I think he nailed Paul Atreides out of the park, especially in the council at the end after he does the agony for himself.
Yep,
and he becomes the Muad'Dib.
Yep, that was solid.
Show-wise, there was a lot of surprises with shows.
We just talked about 2 of them, right?
One of the ones we didn't talk about, which we did enjoy and we reviewed, Fallout.
Oh, dude, that was 20. That was right.
Yeah.
That was before the Acolyte.
Yeah.
Dude,
So-
holy shit. I forgot all about that. That's
And
not good.
the other one, it's recent that it was just released on Amazon Prime, and that would have been Secret Levels, the anthology show that they
You and
released.
you and I are definitely we'll pump a review for that in the next couple of weeks. 100%, because I actually want to talk about a couple of those. I thought that Warhammer one and the Dungeons and Dragons one are awesome, and they need to get those guys, those crews, I mean, to do something else, to focus on those and just do more.
The Outer World one on the second drop is really good too. It's the first episode of the second drop.
Oh, that's right. So how many total episodes are there now?
I think there's 15 total.
Okay, so I think I'm at the midpoint. I'm at the last episode of batch 1. I gotta catch up, and maybe we can do a block of them. We'll talk about that offline. So lots of good shows. My favorite stuff of the year, I'm gonna reiterate. I think honestly, I think The Wild Robot's my favorite. I had that movie in my head for weeks after that. It inspired me to conceptualize a couple of my own projects. The soundtrack was there. There's still a scene in that movie where, like, if you expect the waterworks to turn on, they're gonna turn on every time you see it. You know, there's a part at the very end there. I don't want to ruin it for you, but it's like she basically tells the kid, "I have everything I need," and then pulls the kid into her, like, the armor chassis to keep him safe. Every parent gets this, you know. So good stuff. And then favorite game of the year, believe it or not, I started strong with Helldivers 2. I'm rounding out 2024. I'm on Marvel Rivals now. It's wild that a free-to-play game comes with 33 characters off the rip, fully realized, with no pay-to-win bullshit. It's a bit of a grind just to play through it and get good, because it's kind of like Overwatch. There's roles, skills. You can't just jump in and do COD shit. You have to actually pay attention. And then the last thing I wanted to say, I'm really looking forward to this in 2025. The new Dresden Files book is supposed to be out this summer. Big looking forward to that, because it's the first book in that series after a major cataclysm that was Battleground that came out a couple of years ago during the pandemic. So this will be the first back in the saddle Dresden book as the world's kind of reset. A larger part of the world is now aware that the supernatural is a thing. Like, it can't be covered up anymore. So it could go a lot of different ways. Looking forward to that. Do you have any big things you're looking forward to in 2025 that we can do real quick before we do a proper setup next week?
No, I think we should hold it off for next week and do the
Okay.
2025 show next week, where we go over what we're looking forward to, big things coming out.
Cool.
It looks like it's going to be a good setup for a year. I could say that. So I'm kind of excited about this year coming out. So
Just wanted to recognize Afkizi Gaming, who popped in the chat. Better late than never, dude. We appreciate you. Dune Part 2 for the dub. This dude right here, King Z, got big enough into Dune and Warhammer when they were kind of the hot topics of the year, where he's now like an instantaneous lore expert, because he watched 70, 80 hours of stuff from those kind of lore channels. So we might have to bring him in sooner or later. But dude, thank you for popping in. We do appreciate you. But guys, Happy New Year from King Z and Winter Wolf over here at the Winter Wolf's Den. Hopefully everything's going great for you in the initial day. We're looking forward to a happy and healthy new year. Big goals to hit. We appreciate folks helping us acquire hours. Make your goals, get into a good routine, do healthy things, make changes. Don't let 2025 just be another wasted bit of time for you. Go do something. Go be great. There's a lot of opportunity out there. Go seek it out. King Z, I'll leave it to you to do an outro, however you want to do it, because it's New Year.
well, Happy New Year, everybody.